Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Lights Out League Racing, race 4, season 26. And I can't believe we're a quarter way through the season already. This week we find ourselves in Mexico, the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, just east of Mexico City. And I was going to say, with its location being 200 kilometres above sea level, that it hampers with many conditions, including your tyres and your engine, and of course the weather. And the weather, it's dripping, sodden wet, and I'd probably say I was surprised to see this, but I'm not. I'm not surprised to see this because I think 9 out of 10 races that I've done here have all been raining. And the question is, do we have rain just during quali, or is it in the race? I'm sure it's going to be a nice surprise for us. If anyone in the chat would like to say that are racing, let us know, but it'll be a nice little surprise. There's a mixture of people going out on some slicks and into tyres, so it'll be interesting to see what the actual conditions are like. If the track is dry enough, you can see Katamis is on the soft tyres, and he'll be doing the first flying hot lap, and so you can see it's quite slippy. It's a slippy track anyway, but when it's a little bit damp, it's going to be a tricky one. And what we'll do is I'll do our first, as always, first flying hot lap of qualifying, and it is Katamis. He came P2 last week, a little bit shaky coming out the final corner to start his first flying lap. DRS will be open. I don't know if it's been deactivated, but we'll assume it is. And it looks like it is as he goes down to the sharp, hard braking zone, turn 1, where we're going to see plenty of action and overtakes. The chicane of turns 2 and 3, where you want to cut the corners, minimise the track distance as much as possible, open up the throttle coming out of turn 3, DRS open. Again, we'll see some overtaking opportunities coming down to the left-hander of turn 4, 90 degrees corner, and with another hard braking zone now, turn 5 and 6 again, very slow, hard turning corners, and where it's going to be a mixture of your low downforce setup, having to navigate these corners. Turns 7 through to 10, where 11, where it's the S-bends, where you can be as quick as possible, cut the chicanes where you need to, but we're going to see 1 or 2 people invalidating there. Turn 12, again another hard straight after the DRS zone. And then through turn 13-15, Forest Soul Complex. So in fact, got a new asphalt layer, so it's going to be quite tricky for some drivers. Turn 16, want to open up the throttle through turn 17, the Peralta or Peralta. Actually comes to 1:24.1, so you can see the time is a lot slower. They were doing 1:15s, I think, in practice, and Atsu and the Haas with a 22.9, so definitely it is possible to do a time on some dry tyres, but we'll see what the current Inter drivers are doing. Noodles has just come and finished his lap, and intermediates of Ricky Maru in the second half to 20.9, Noodles up to 22.3, so it's looking like Inter's is probably the tyres to be on. No one has managed to beat that time on the softs currently. Let's see what Adam Mako is going to do. So P5 of him at 23.7. Definitely it is an indication that Enters is the tyre to go on. Some good data for the drivers that haven't come out yet. Dan's invalidated his time, so he'll probably dive straight in. And that's chest ball's gone off. He's lost it during the S-bends. As we'll see Marty just coming through, and the Forest Soul, and I think he'll dive straight into the pits. No, he's done a lap and goes to provisional P5 at 23.6, but it's safe to say the Inters are the way to go, and what we'll probably see is the guys on Inters do a warm down lap and then another hot lap. Bowl comes over on a 26.3, and we did see him go off as well. So, bit of housekeeping for this week. We're missing quite a good handful of full-time drivers. We do have a couple filling in for us as well. So we are on Chespol, who joined us last week in Monza. Unfortunately didn't finish the race, but it's good to see him back on track in the Ferrari car again, filling in for Project Ty. So Project Ty and Jax Daniels both in the Ferraris, jumping in as full-time teammates, which does mean that Dan Morris has moved over with Adam into the Mercedes. So it'll make interesting constructors moving forward. And then we've got a couple of debuts as we miss Noodles going up to provisional P2. So we've got Atsu, and they're both in the Hasses. So Atsu and Ricky Maru, who I've seen in another league, and it'd be quite interesting to see how they get on. I think Ricky Maru's on another hot lap, just coming out of the centre sector 2, and he's half a second up. So found plenty more time with less fuel in his car. And it's just coming round turn 15, turn 16. Open up that throttle, coming round Peralta. And crosses the line and does improve to 19.9. So as the track warms up a bit, we will see as Chespol's got himself up to P3 on those inters. Capstock has got himself up to P2 actually on softs. I don't know who you are. Who are you, Dan Cram? I'm a D. So actually, my hypothesis of inter tyres is wrong, and Amd goes at 19.6 on the softs. It does look like it's drying a little bit, so maybe the soft tyres on. Okay, sorry, Jax. Yeah, I'll invite you, mate. Sent to you. Lovely. So we're going to see a mixture of drivers on inters and softs here. So Adam Mako up to P3 on the mediums. Had a bit of trouble last couple of weeks with his qualifying. Maybe wanting to get a good mark as Capstock gets himself back up to P2 on those softs. Great outing from him. Last week, of course, so I'm a D, who's currently on provisional pole. Did get the race win last week. It was a great strategy call in the mandatory tyre special race. Ooh, a little bit shaky from Terry's. Moving out the way of his teammate. He's on at the side gate, sorry, out the way of his teammate. McLaren boys, a good shout out for them from last week. Getting 4 and 5 on the track with a fantastic strategy call. As Terry crosses the line, and he's up to provisional pole, the 18-1. This track is ramping up, and he's on provisional pole. He'll be absolutely chuffed with that. See what passing can do. He's invalidated currently, so he's not going to improve on this lap. So our championship holder, not current leader. Amadi's the leader. 1.2 seconds up currently. Getting up to the early 19s. Still plenty of time to find, and it looks like he's saving himself some soft tyres for the race. Where's that entering? It cuts off there. I didn't say it all. I don't have the voice note on. Where's it to normally crash? Adam's coming around through the Borisol. He's going to get a nice early slipstream off the car in front. From Amadi, who just nips ahead of him with a 15.5, Adam with a 15.6. So very, very tight, and these times hard drop. The track is dry. I think everyone will be jumping on as Saigate gets himself up to P4. 18.2. This track will be ramping up to, so we're not going to get the fastest time until the end of qualifying. We've got Atsu just coming round. It says he's 5 seconds up. which will get him a lot higher. P3 for now, 15.6, just a hundredth behind Adamako. But Adamako is, of course, on those medium tyres. What can Marty do? He's just starting a hot lap now. We'll double check with Mr. Geezer doing a lap on mediums. And it's his first flying lap. We'll have one eye on him and Adam, one eye on Liverpool tonight. But they're very thankful that they joined us as well on track. Multitasking. Who said men can't multitask? As he crosses the line and goes provisional pole, the 15.4. Wow. The benchmark's been set by Geezer for now. As we'll jump on with Marty. 1.7 seconds up. As he's just through the middle, sector 2 through the S's. Hey, S.A. Hey, gringo, you see my donkey? As he's just coming out, down through, open up the DRS. And he's 5.6 seconds up. Let's get him to the 1:17s. There's still plenty of time to find in this final sector. A little bit shaky, but crosses the line. Where will Marty come? He's on provisional pole with a 15.2. 2 tenths ahead. The times are dropping. Let's see what Chessbowl can do. Such a mixed feelings track, this one. It's one of those ones where you either love it or hate it. Arrived on the scene for Formula 1 cars in 1962. Actually returned in 1963 for an official championship race. And used to be called the Magdalena Mincincha. I can't speak Mexican. It's like the Inchichicha. Funny words. As Chessbowl just coming round, final couple of corners. But yeah, when it's invalidated that final sector, he's gonna have to go again or jump in and change his tyres. Mr. Jack Daniels doing his first flying lap, his league, his season debut in the Ferrari, and invalidates on turn 12. It's a bit of a, it's always a kicker. He's gonna have to either go round again or jump in and change his tyres. And Katame's provisional pole, the 15.1. These times are dropping like a teenager's testicles. As you'll see, Caps Lock is 3.7 seconds up on his time now. Early 16s. We'll get him up to P8, but can he find a lot more time in these final couple of corners? Showed strong early qualifying. Trusted those soft tyres. And provisional pole for him, 14.8. They're dropping. They're dropping like flies. Ricky Mari, 3.5 seconds off. I have a feeling we're going to see another provisional pole. Oh, he spoke too soon. Commentator's curse. On turn 14, clip the curb and goes up to P3. Chessbowl jumps into bits. Let's see what Mr. Noodles can do. He's having a bit of weave, so he's not on a hot lap there. Hamidi then. Williams boys currently at the peak of the mountain in 1 and 2. They're the ones to beat with just under 4 minutes to go. Let's see what Hamidi can do. Coming through the S's now. Looking very slick. Just like his tyres. DRS will be open. Comes to the end of sector 2 and he's just over a second up. Which gets to the 14.5s. Which at the moment, a little bit of locking up there and rough riding the curbs. He's pushing the limits. With that current time, we'll get him on provisional pole. And he does, 14.3. He's the one to beat for now. There's Noodles just coming through the Forest Soul Complex. Such a iconic part of the calendar now. As Terry's gets himself up to P2. And Noodles is adjusting himself, starting on a hot lap now. We're going to get one or two coming out for their final flying lap. Terry's currently in P2. Wow. He'll be absolutely chuffed with that. I am for him. Great form last week. Yeah, I was saying this track came on in 1963. It's been on and off the calendar ever since. Actually, I think it was 2002, I think, something like that, where it changed its name to the Autodromo Hermanos. And the track has been modified, most notably the final corner. Let's have a check on number 2. So it's Dan, the next one to come round. He's 1.7 seconds up. Again, he's on pad, so he's not going to be his full speed capability. So yeah, they changed the final corner. It used to be 180 degrees banked corner, but and he's invalidated. Oh, we saw that. Oh, we saw that. As we'll see Atsu then coming through the stadium, the old baseball stadium. He's in the whipped round turn 17, like I said, it's been changed after Ayrton Senna gets himself up to provisional P4. Let's see, Sygate, the game's giving him the fastest middle sector. Is it lying or is it true? We'll see what happens when he comes round. Coming off his fantastic P4 performance last week. This will be his final flying lap. Crosses the line. And it's 1:16.1. So we'll start highest P11. Got Chespo, 5.2 seconds up. Just got to keep it on the track. And, loses it on the final corner. Oh, feel sorry for you. Sorry, lad. That's who we got next coming round. Noodles has invalidated, so he's not going to improve. Can he get over? He's not going to get over the line in time. As we'll see, Dan in the Mercedes. He's messed up completely, trying to get round the final corner, and gets it up to P12. Who's he got next? Crossing the line. Amadi. That's him done with a 14.3. He's not going to improve. Ricky Maru's P2. Adamako is going to be P3 with a 14.5, just behind Ricky Maru. Marty's invalidated. And Chespo, the game's absolutely screwed him. Capslock just coming around the final corner for him. Where's he going to start? P2 for Capslock, 14.4. Great lap from him, and I think he'll be absolutely buzzing with that. Who have we got left to come round? It's Jax on his first flying lap. It's all or nothing for him. What can he do? He's only just got the game. He's only had it for about a week or so. Crosses the line. And it's P11, 1:15.5. Marty's in the pits. There's Ricky Mari. He's not improved, so Ricky Mari P3. So Amadi takes pole. Only just, though. With a great lap from the Williams driver. Capslock with a great lap. P2. And I would say I didn't see that one coming. I did not see that one coming. So Amadi on pole with a 14.3 and Capslock joining him on the front row. Mickey Maru on his Lights Out League Racing debut P3, joining him is the championship holder Adamako P4. Terry's P5, fantastic from the McLaren. Marty P6. Atsu P7, he'll be happy with that. Katami's P8, P2 last week. Keys P9, Noodles round off the top 10. Jax P11, Sygate 12, Dan Morris P13, and Chespo will be at the rear end. So the drivers now, it's looking bright, but that doesn't mean it'll stay that way during the race. The drivers will be just tweaking their setups, adjusting their fuel loads, sorting out their tyre strategy. For me, it's always to be fair, I think I'd probably go soft mediums. I think this track's not too bad on tyre wear. So I'd probably go and give it a go on the softs. But if not, I'll go for the standard medium hards. You can do the alternate strategy if you wanted to. But I would go for soft, so mediums. It is a low downforce track. You want to utilise the straights with the DRS as much as possible. It's hard to overtake during the slow sections, so maximise that. With the setup as well, you want to keep your brake temperature at optimum temperatures with the high speeds and heavy braking zones. And most people started on the mediums. Amadi, Adamako, Kiza and Jax all starting on the hard, so it'll be interesting to see their strategies, how they unfold during the race. It is a 4.3 kilometre clockwise circuit, 17 corners, 10 to the right, 7 to the left, 3 DRS zones, 2 of the detection zones. So the first one, giving the first 2 DRS zones, which we're going over the second one right now. Amadi leading our way around. Joining him is Capslock on the front row, Ricky Maru P3 and Adamako P4, who will look to try and get as close to Amadi as possible. Terry's P5, he'll be wanting to get on that podium. I've been wishing him a podium. He was so close last week. Marty P6, who had a really good form last week. Let's hope it can keep it going. Atsu P7, quite content with that RB for my debut in the lead. Hoping to get as close to his teammate as possible. Captain P8, wanting to eclipse his P2, maybe a P1, you never know. This track is always known for safety cars. He's Geezer alongside his teammate on the 5th row, Noodles, Jack Daniels P11, the lead Ferrari driver today, Cygate P12, Mr. P4, can he get P4 again? Let's see. Dan Morris P13, and we just lost Jack Daniels as what I was saying, and Chespo at the rear end. Let's hope Codemasters gives us a good camera view for the launch off the line. As everyone is sliding into their grid slots. And what Cats and Amadi, although he's in P1, it's not always the best place to start. 811 metres from pole down to turn 1. It's a long way to go without someone overtaking you. It's 4, 5. It's lights out and away we go. It looks like Capslock's got a good launch off the line and he's up to P1. Rick Amari will be in the slipstream of Amadi and goes on the inside of Capslock with 3 wide going down to turn 1. There's nowhere for Adam to go. He's going to have to stay behind. And he's under threat from Catanese. He's up to P4. It's very tight. Looks like everyone's made it round. Oh, their Ferrari's a little bit bunched up. Some of the Chespo and Dan have had to go a bit wide, but Capslock up to P1 and has got away from Ricky Maru's Amadi down to P3. He's looking on the inside, trying to make an early move on Ricky Maru, but Ricky Maru's defending well. Terry's is squashed into turn 5. There's nowhere for him to go. Very tight corner for about 3 cars to go wide. And Noodles gets past him up to P8 as well. Adams down to P5 now with his hard tyres not quite switched on, and Catanese up to P4. We'll probably see once the DRS is activated these hard tyres. As Aston Martin of Marty looking on the inside of Adam as Adam and Catanese side by side. Catanese squeezed by Ahmed. Was that Adamako squeezed by Amadi? I couldn't see properly. But Capslock leads away in P1. This must be one of his tracks that he likes. I said earlier, it's either track you love or hate. DRS has activated this lap, and thankfully we've had everyone carry on going through lap 1. No one's close enough to make an overtake quite yet. Test boy close to Sygate, trying to fight for that P11. You will see DRS activated down here as Ricky Maru's had to avoid caps lock, and that's put him under threat from RD. Just couldn't brake in time. And now he's got Amity all over his gearbox. A little bit of breathing space for caps lock. Everyone's through single file. We're keeping an eye on Terry. As he said, he's been spinning a lot in practice. It's always good to, it's funny to watch people do it on stream. Marty's right on the gearbox of Adamako, showing some great pace, wanting to get alongside his teammates so they can work together. It looks like Amadi's used quite a lot of his ERS by his light flashing. I think we're going to see an overtake. I think he's got quite a good gap between him and Ricky Maru. Depends on Ricky Maru's setup. Will we see anyone? He looks like Noodles is close. Chespo's got past Sygate, and Noodles has got past Atsu. Up to P7. Will we see any more down the second straight? And it looks like a lot of drivers have used some of their ERS. Their lights are flashing like crazy, and Ricky Maru has managed to get back up. Katamise and Marty battling side by side. Marty's on the inside line, and Katamise has got to stay behind for now. Looking racy, Katamise. Absolutely all on the back of Noodles. And Terry's watching with the technique a little bit wide. And Katamise is the first one to get track limits. And goes way off track, and there's a very validated track limits warning for him. Bit of a lock up there from Marty, but he does have a gap between him and Katamise, who's been dropped from the DRS train, which just these several cars get the fastest lap. Is Capslock going to be under threat from Ricky Maru now? Capslock defends the inside line. As Noodles gets past Katamise, Capslock defends well. And as I said, Noodles is up ahead. Terry gets ahead of Atsu. The wheels are locking slightly. Atsu gets squashed on turn 2. And Keyser capitalises, or tries to, but Terry's is alongside him. These two battle a lot, and then Keyser has lost a couple of places because of the DRS there as well. So it's as you were. And Sygate at the rear. P14 gets himself a track limit. You want to stay within the DRS train. As Ricky Maru, he's got himself up to pole at P1. Managed to make that jump on Capslock, but he will be under threat when down the start-finish straight. It's a 4-car train for the lead of the race. And you'd like to say, currently we're on starting lap 5. Amadi and Adam looking the favourites as they're on the hard tyre strategy. Capslock, is he close enough to make a move? Amadi is closing up on Capslock. Not close enough to make that move quite yet, as Atsu gets past Terry down the straight. Keys is looking to follow through, but takes a look. That wasn't quite close enough. Inside it, down again. Keep going, my friends. It's a very, very slippy track, this one. And these four, I think it's going to be a great battle until the end. You don't want to see any silly moves. These four are very, very good drivers. And I think it's great to see Capslock in a battle for the podium, battle for the win of the race. He's been ticking along nicely this season. And we'll see how it goes again. Ooh, Capslock, as I was saying, a little bit of loss of traction, and that's opened up an opportunity for Amadi to get past. That has also put Amadi under threat because Ricky Maru has got over a second gap, which means the cars behind don't have DRS for Amadi. He's under threat from Catstock and Adam. Catstock tucks on the inside of turn 1, takes a look but just couldn't quite make it there. Amadi doesn't really defend that much as Terry's jump from Atsu back up to P8. I think these two will be to-ing and throwing. And the Constantine a little bit. Will Atsu take the position back with the second DRS for Terry, so he should get away. And they've caught back up to Ricky Maru now, so it's a 4-car train again in the DRS. And Macho just sitting there back for now, biding his time, waiting to pounce. Very, very seasoned driver, as he got one eye on Liverpool and one eye on the race. As Terry's lost a couple of places, I think he's gone off on the S's, and he's off the racing line. As Chespo and Dan Morris side by side, it's hard to overtake each other on turn 12, and we've got a collision there. Chespo, I don't know where his car was trying to go. I think he was trying to put his car somewhere that it wasn't able to go, and it ended up off track, and he's lost worse out. As Katamise has overtaken 2 places, goes deep, which has opened the door for Marty. I don't think Marty left enough room for Katamise there. Marty's is up to P5 again, but Katamise will have the DRS as well as Noodles. Katamise has the inside of turn 4, side by side again. Marty has the inside of turn 5. Banging wheels, leaving plenty of room though, side by side, and Marty is winning out Willie. Katamise is still side by side, he's on the inside of turn 7. He gives the place. Very, very wise from Katamise. Very had to concede that, and now he's got Noodles all over the back of him. Noodles going to look at overtake. Katamise just ahead, but no, they're going to have to wait now till the DRS straight. As Katamise has lost a place to Noodles, he must have lost a bit of traction because it's hard to overtake through the stadium section. Looking a little bit shaky. As the front 4 as you were, getting down to the end of the straight. Amadi and Ricky Maru side by side. Amadi just on the inside. Ricky Maru saw him coming, left him plenty of room. And Amadi back in the lead of the race now. Noodles up to P5, has got past Katamise and Marty. Be interesting to see what happened with Marty there. He's lost a couple of seconds to Noodles and Katamise. And he's got Noodles just behind him as Jax gets past Dan Morris on turn 4 up to P11. Dan is pushing him round turns 5 and 6. Both have their a bit less. Dan goes a little bit wide. Both have their reduced capabilities than Norm. Like I said earlier, Jax has only had the game for about a week or so now and is just getting used to the handling model. And Dan, I think he's getting his wheel back in a couple of weeks. Next week or week after. So he'll just get his full form back. Amadi is he under threat as Marty's the first one to pit on the mediums. Has he got damage to pit this early? Tyre wear isn't that bad. Dan Morris is in as well. He has, he's got a wing change. They're jumping onto those hards. And Dan is doing an early switch. So he hasn't had a wing change, he's just stitching off the tyres. As Terry's gets himself a track limits. So your front 4 still together. As they're just coming up to turn 7 and start of the S's. And these are the 4. These 4 will not want. Oh, Amadi. Very shaky. He's going to put him under threat from Ricky Maru. Coming out of turn 11. DRS open. Will Ricky Maru look to take the move, turn the move? He doesn't. He slots behind. Wise move from him. He knows that the DRS straight's coming. And look at these four. Now this is where you don't want it decided by somebody else. Or as good launch by Amadi. Or penalties. We'll try and make a move of Ricky Maru. He's jumped into his slip. Can the caps look inside of turn 1. Ricky Maru does the inside of turn 1 and Amadi. Caps lock tries to follow, but just doesn't have enough room and has to stay with P3. Noodles and Katami side by side. As Noodles stays P4 Atsu ahead of Keys the Geezer. Make a good use of the DRS zone. And Chestbowl jumps in the pits now. Jumps onto some fresh hard tyres. Is the tyre wear that bad that these guys have got to go in quite early? Not so sure. It's looking quite overcast. Do we have rain? As Marty gets past Dan Morris down to turn 1. Imagine these two will be battling quite hard. Marty will have the DRS zone again. Pushing Ricky Maru round stadium. Catstock and Adam to stay with them. Again, good launch off the turn 17 by Amadi. And there's nothing really Ricky Maru can do to defend that. I mean, easy overtake for Amadi. Can Adam? Adam's just staying behind again for now. As Kashmirs and Noodles swap places again. Kashmirs back up to P5. Noodles knows that he just has to stay with Kashmirs for now. As Keezer and Atsu switch places as well. Geezer up to P7. And Adam has got past Caps Lock. Looks like Caps Lock had a bit of a slight collision. He needs to get back within that DRS to stay with this train. And he's down P4. Sygate is now in the pits and Johnson's the hard tyres. Does Caps Lock have damage? Doesn't look like it. He's want to hope that he's battle in front of him so he catches up. He's already 2 seconds behind these front 3 now. Williams drivers jumping in the pits then. And he's going to look at doing an undercut then. Get off these mediums onto the hards. And it's looking like 1 or 2 drivers are. And Jack gets himself his first track limits of the season. And he jumps on to those fresh hard tyres. He should come out, I think, ahead of Terry's. As Atsu and Keys have switched places, and Noodles and Katamis as well. They're doing it each lap. It'd be interesting to see the laps that Caps Lock pumps in now on those fresher tyres. Can he undercut these front 3? Will we see one of the front 3 make a move? Potentially Ricky Maru. As Dan and Marty switch places now side by side. Going through the chicane of 2 and 3. Dan is ahead for now. And made use of that DRS. So coming through the stadium. Will we see Ricky Maru go in? Still quite early. 24 laps on hard tyres. It's a long way to go. Is it a 2-stopper? Is it a 2-stopper? Are we going to see rain? I'm just not sure. The weather's just, it's very overcast, very, very glum. Katami's up to P4 as Noodles jumps in the pit. So he's getting off his medium tyres onto the hards. So it must mean that these, he does. Quick pit stop from him onto those fresh hards. I think he's going to end up behind Dan and Marty. It's going to be tight, him coming out. No, he's just ahead. Yeah, quite interesting early call from these. And what we can see is Marty leapfrog again, down up to P11. Ricky Maru and Adam very close, and they have been dropped by Amadi. Amadi will put his foot down, knowing that Ricky Maru won't. A little bit shaky coming out of turn 17. Ricky Maru does go into the pits now. Well, it doesn't bode well for the one stopper this then, because even the hard tyres, you're going to have to get to like lap 20. And what's happened with Terry's? He's gone off on the S's. He's still going, but it's not a safety car. He's got a damaged wing, and Sygate's got another track limits. Atsu's in the pits, Katamiz is in the pits, getting off those medium tyres. Capsock does go through, and he ends up 1.7 seconds behind Ricky Maru. Can he close up to him? Atsu comes out behind Dan, and Marty's battling. Terry's is in the pits now. He's going to take a pit stop anyway to get off those mediums, so not much of a loss from him having to make the pit stop anyway. Marty and Dan side by side down the DRS down to turn 4. As Ricky Maru gets past Jack, Jack's sliding round turn 7. Bit of loss of traction, goes off the racing line, which allows Capsock through as well, who's 1.4 seconds behind. And Capsock just close that gap to Ricky Maru. If those two work together, they might be able to make a jump on Amadi using DRS. Ricky Maru had any racing sense and would want a challenge potentially for the lead. They'll allow Capsock just to get into that DRS. As Dan gets himself a track limits as well. So we're on lap 15. Amadi currently in the lead of the race, 2.6 seconds ahead of Adamako in P2. Kiza currently in P3, 17 seconds behind. He is a pit stop behind the couple of cars behind him, so Ricky Maru's just caught up with him. And what Capsock actually will want is to hold up Ricky Maru through the S's just so he can close the gap. He's only 1.8 seconds behind. Jax has still got to stop, currently P6. Noodles, who has, is P7, 10.5 seconds behind Jax. Katami's in that train behind Noodles alongside Dan, as Ricky Maru's trying to get past Kiza. And Kiza didn't battle that, he knows that it's not his race. Capsock will want to get in that DRS. He's getting himself another track limits. He's battling with Dan Morris, who gets the place up to P8 using the DRS, and I think Katami's going wide. Has given Dan the opportunity for the overtake. Actually getting himself a track limits as well. You can see them all popping up. Kiza has that DRS to pull him along, which will help his battle with the drivers around him. Katami's retaking position on Dan using DRS. Dan can't really defend it. Is Marty going to go through as well on turn 1? It's a late move. Dan sees him coming. And great driving from both of them. Dan knows as well. But he can fight on the next lap. Atsu's 2.5 seconds behind. He just needs to close in on the cars in front, and if they are constantly battling, he will do. Kiza, Capsock making that overtake in the DRS zone on Kiza, 2.2 seconds behind Ricky Maru. It'd be interesting to see once Amadi and Adamako do pit. It's looking a bit glum. Will we see rain? We saw it in quali. Kiza will have DRS. which will help his battle with the other drivers around him. Takes a look on turn 1, but knows this again, it's not his battle. So he just will utilise the extra speed he's getting and hampers it with the track limits. You've got a yellow flag, I think that's Terry's. No, it was Sygate, went off in the S's. As Katamise takes Noodles down to turn 1. Seen plenty of action there. Dan hasn't quite managed to get back his position yet. Noodles will try and fight back. Won't have DRS. And we'll just need to slot behind. The interesting battle between these pair right until the end of the race. Way above them, there's still 4 drivers to pit as Dan and Marty side by side coming out of turn 5. Or turn 6, sorry. And Dan is up to P9. Very close racing between these two. Same with Katamise and Noodles. The Noodles want to take the position back on up to turn 12 using DRS on the outside. Katamise has the inside, leaving plenty of room. Great overtake from Noodles. Turn 12. And that's put Katamise under threat from Dan, who's Dan's got the inside and nearly slices the wing of Katamise. Very, very aggressive driver from Dan. And we've lost Atsu, who's managed to catch up. Whose car's just stuck on the pit lane. Manages to keep it going and jumps. No, doesn't go. Does a Carlos Sainz. As Terry gets past his teammate. So 13-14. The Big McLaren boys are still big enough. Great pair of lads. And this isn't a true reflection of their form. Lap 18, coming around the end of lap 18. And the McLaren boys just about get lapped by Amadi, who's still yet to pit, so he's not a full lap. Amadi will get DRS, which will help his fight for the race win. Adam Mako now 5.1 seconds behind, just running his own race. I think he'll be quite content though. As Ricky Maru sets the current fastest lap on 5-lap-old hard tyres. I can see that getting pinched though when the guys jump in for their mediums. Chessbowl getting ahead of Atsu, who obviously has that spin on turn 17. Jake Peralta on the last lap. But we'll look to retake that position. Down the start finish. Noodles taking the place from Dan. Dan's trying to fight back. There's nothing he can do. A 4-way battle here from Katamise, Noodles, Dan and Marty. And we're on 19 of 36 laps. As Atsu does retake that position down to turn 1. And he doesn't seem to have damage, so it's good that he didn't. Oh no, he has lost an end plate. So he might have to change his wing. Doesn't have to pit again, doesn't seem to be damaging him too much. But it won't be helping at all, especially through these slower sections. As Amadi is in the pits, has decided to pit and jump on those mediums. Ricky Maru's coming down and will take P2, but does have 6-lap-old hard tyres. Amadi coming on those fresh mediums. How close is Caps Lock? Caps Lock comes behind Amadi. And he's closing in, 1.9 seconds behind. But did pit a couple laps earlier as well, so he does have 8-lap-older hards. Be interesting to see what Adam Mako does then. Does he, as Noodles overtakes Dan? Having a look at Katamise as well. Isn't close enough to make that move quite yet. Chessbowl retakes the P11 down to turn 1. These 4 cars in close situ as we're coming around turn 5. Bit of a slow one from Katamise. I think he's probably got his setup mostly done for the long straights, and it's slow through this midsection. He's getting pushed around by Noodles and Dan. I think Noodles has gone slightly wide because Dan's managed to make the overtake. As Adamako is now in the pit on those mediums, has been overtaken by Amadi. Will Capslock make the overtake? He does. Adamako comes out in P4. Let's see what he can do. Kizagi's is in. Jackson's gone round again. So he's the only one left to pit now. Kiza will go on those mediums. And he will come out. I think just ahead of Chessbowl. It's going to be tight. Chessbowl has dropped out through. He's jumped in the pits. He's going to make that wing change. It is hampering him. And is making that change, getting himself onto some fresh mediums. So Ricky Maru on his debut, currently leading the race with 15 laps to go. Atsu will come out behind Terry's. Amagi 3 seconds behind, hasn't managed to make those tyres work yet. He has closed about a second, I think. Capslock P3, 4.7 seconds behind Amadi, taking that fastest lap, has shown that he has got some pace in the car with a 16.5. And Adamako 4.3 seconds, so we'll see how these times drop on the guys on the hard tyres. And getting himself another track limits. Just coming through the stadium. Noodles looking racy. Jax is finally in the pits now onto those medium tyres. Noodles should be an easy overtake on Catanese, but Catanese has probably got his 0-0 wings, you know. As Noodles cannot make that overtake. Ooh, just couldn't stop in time on Catanese, pushing him round the chicane. Can he make the overtake the second time round? Going down to turn 4. He's a frustrating character, Catanese. Noodles. Guys just can't make that move yet. Pushing Catanese round. You can see Catanese's setup is probably not made for these slow corners. And it's just hampering the cars behind. Catanese, Noodles and Marty. As Amadi breaks his own fastest lap with another one. 16.5. 6.6. And Noodles finally makes that overtake. Got himself up to P5 on Catanese. Marty trying to follow through as well. Has to settle with pushing Catanese round like he's in a pram. Shall be interesting to see the speed that Cat has now. Chasing Noodles down the start-finish straight. Noodles weaving to defend his line. Defends the inside. Catanese goes on the outside. Gets himself back up to P5. There's nothing the defending car can do this time round. Amadi is now closed in on Ricky Maru on those fresher medium tyres. The alternate strategies worked as Ricky Maru using all the track as possible. You can see him just almost off the track to get the better turn in on turn 12. Amadi is now within DRS and Adamako is closing in on Capslock as well. Just down to 2 seconds to 2 seconds. DRS will be open. Amadi flooring it now, 16.3. I don't think he'd be close enough this time round. He's got 12 laps to make the move. And settles when now is Marty. And Noodles side by side. Noodles has the inside. Marty leaves him plenty of room. These compatriots, these friends, being very competitive and very, very respectful. Catanese currently in front. P5, can Noodles make the overtake? I don't think it's quite close enough. Noodles does have a better launch off the line than Marty on turn 17, but not quite close enough for Noodles again. He's going to look to try and get a better launch off turn 3, open that DRS again. Can he do it this time up to turn 4? He's pushing him down the line. Just has one look. No, he slots behind. Knows he can do it next lap. Again, he's pushing him round. It shows how much faster Noodles is in this section of the track. As he takes a look on the inside, not quite. Half expected Katami to leave in the space. Side has to go off the track. It's not quite the place to overtake there, and Noodles is trying to be optimistic, but does have this part of the track as Marty looks on the inside, has a sharp brake to avoid collision. Very rare racer. Dan just has to avoid colliding with Marty. Noodles has got ahead of Katami's through the stadium, side by side with Marty and Katami's coming around turn 17. Banging wheels, Katami's just ahead. But will be under threat from Marty and Dan, who's sniffing the gearbox of Marty. Dan making the move on Marty side by side. Katami's has managed to pull away, looking on the inside of turn 1. Look at the speed that guy got in the Williams. Who's got the inside of turn 2, and Katami's is going to have to pull out and concede the place. Will he be able to take that place back? Going up to turn 4, he's on the inside. He does. Brakes last minute, and Noodles has to slot behind. Very, very great driving from these four. And as you can see, Adam Mako has managed to catch up with Caps Lock now. 13 lap hold, hard tyres. And we've lost a couple of positions down. As Amadi, down the start finish, has managed to go up to P1. And I have a feeling these two will be jostling positions until the end of the race, 10 laps to go. Adam Mako looking on the outside of turn 1, gets himself up to P3. Ahead of Caps Lock, and these two again, can Caps Lock stay with Adam Mako? That'll be the question. Marty 25 seconds behind, but the leader of this pack of 5 cars now, as Keys has joined the race. Katami's has lost the position to Dan. DRS is open and they're going to be jostling. Ooh, 3 wide. I think that was Katami's who just went off track slightly. I don't think he expected Katami's to be there as he's made the overtake on Marty. All's well though, they're all still going thankfully. There's Jack, the 2 Ferrari guys side by side. Jax concedes the place to Chessbowl. And has a little wiggle going as Katami's ends up going off the track. And that's an opportunity. What are these guys doing? Dan takes his opportunity while those two are battling and gets himself up to P5. And Katami's has to concede the place as going off track. And I think they're all trying to make moves in places where there isn't places on the track. Keith Geezer going off the track and getting himself into the track limits. Currently out of these 5, Noodles is the better of this. He doesn't have that track limits warning. And I think we're going to see them jostling for position again. As Ricky Maru isn't quite close enough to make the move. Will Caps Lock be able to do it on Adamaka going down to turn 4? Not quite. Noodles is going to be looking on Dan Morris. He does on the inside of turn 1. Nice and easy move from him. Katami's makes the move on Dan as well. Can he make a move on Noodles? Has a look on the outside of turn 1. Not close. Ooh, going wide. Has to concede the position though. That was Noodles' corner. Keys Geezer down to P8. Smarty P9. Jax finally gets past his teammate up to P10. Only 5.7 seconds as Marty's lost a bit of time. He's lost an M plate as well, so I think he's come off worse off. And he's stuck now in P9. It was a bit of carnage in those 5 cars, all trying to go for the same bit of track, and they're all 4 here again. Will anyone who'd be optimistic down the DRS straight? It looks like Katami's and Dan are going for it. Dan does. On the inside of turn 12, ends up going slightly wide, but has taken the position. Noodles, Katami's goes inside. He's gone off track. He's going to have to give the position back, which he does. Being very aggressive and trying to get every position as possible on the track. Dan currently up to P5. What can Noodles and Katami's and Keezer do? As Marty is in the pit getting himself a wing change. Noodles and Katami's getting ahead of Dan. Keezer's going to have to be safe at P8. But we'll try and take the position from Dan. A little bit of carbon fibre flying off. Jax and Chessbowl fighting again. Marty coming out on some fresh stuff, so looking for a fastest lap. With 7 laps to go on the soft tyres. Be interesting to see what he can do. Sygate plodding along as Ricky Maru takes the lead of the race again, up to P1. Capstock is up to P3. We missed that overtake earlier. Fantastic battling with Adam. He's going to retake the position back up to P3, going down to turn 1. So, but what we did miss was Ricky Maru getting a track's limits, which is going to hamper his chances of getting P1 unless Amadi gets himself a track limit as well. Noodles, leader of the pack. Still 4 cars going. Katamis, Dan, Keezer, Katamis closing in on Noodles. Noodles defending well, but has to concede to Katamis. He's up to P5. Dan stayed ahead of Keezer. Noodles now getting himself a track limits. Unless I don't know what all the penalties are, but it could be just for position. Katami's currently the leader of this group of 4 then. All pushing like crazy. As Amadi's pushing like crazy, trying to retake the position. Ricky Maru does have DRS from Marty in front of him, as Marty doesn't hamper his teammate too much. As Marty will be looking, as Capstock retakes the position up to P3. Going very, very well, the Williams driver. Very, very well. Very good chance of a podium. All to play for. Great, great drive. To be fair, this is such an entertaining race. Actually getting himself another track limits. Can anyone make the move? Catanese looks like he's potentially got the position retained for now. Utilising his straight line speed to defend. But can he defend going down to turn 4? Can Dan defend from Keezer? Keezer having a look on the side of turn 1. Noodles having a look side by side. And that Katami stays ahead. Atsu coming in the pits for another change. Tyre change going on some fresh softs. Sygate going on some fresh softs. So all trying to go for a fastest lap. As Ricky Maru getting overtaken by Marty. Marty on those fresh softs, going for that fastest lap. Utilising that DRS as well. Amadi all over the back of Ricky Maru. Adam all over the back of Capslock. Noodles now in front of Catanese. Struggling through that stadium section. Has been overtaken by Noodles. Can he retake the position going down to turn 1 again? Noodles defending full for his might, but Catanese does go on the outside. Noodles having to slot behind again. Chessbowl and Jax. Those two working together. Oh, his Chessbowl drifts round turn 1. Jax having to avoid it, and Marty Starr does take fastest lap with a 1:15.9. He'll be happy with that that accreditation going on the board. And again, just drifting out of turn 4. Very slippy track, very, very slippy track. Very good, very nice. Very good, very nice. As Adam now retaking P3. Down to turn 1. Academy's at the front. Noodles down in the side of Dan. It was a bit of a dive bomb. And I'll be keeping an eye on that for the next few laps. Because Academy seems to keep losing positions before the DRS line. He's got himself DRS again. And back up to P5. Keys having a look on the inside of Dan, but isn't quite close enough. The V-Car boy's doing well. I'll be keeping an eye on that next time round. As Jackson jumped in on the soft tyres, looking to get himself a fastest lap as well. Has seen what Marty can do. As Marty goes through to P11. On lap 33 out of 36. Armady still behind Ricky Maru. He knows all he has to do is just stay with Ricky Maru, who has that track limits. Capstock getting ahead of Adamako again, up to P3. He's going to go to the wire. Katami's currently P5. And very slow through those corners. Will not have DRS this time. And will use his straight line speed. Using his ERS, using his battery. Can Noodles make the over? He's not quite close enough. Keys just fell out of that train for now, but I'm sure he'll catch up in a second. Can Noodles make the overtake down to turn 4? Katami's defends well. I'm just holding up the cars behind. Noodles is, we've said before, Noodles is so much stronger in this part of the track. And just has to follow Katami's through the S-bends. Jax is back in the pits again. He got a bit of damage and having to do a wing change. As Dan overtakes Noodles on turn 12, goes a little bit deep. Let's keep an eye on what Katami's does here. And again, Dan goes ahead. Katami's gets himself DRS. And goes back up to P5. He's been warned about this before, and I might have to investigate this further. It's quite common that he keeps slowing down before the DRS detection zone. We've got a yellow flag coming out of turn 17. I think it was one of the McLaren boys on the penultimate lap, and currently Armady is still in P2, can't quite make the overtake. He'll want to get those bragging rights of winning on track. Can Adamako, is he going to do it this lap? He does. Down inside of turn 1. Catstock down to P4. Katami's coming, the William boys P4 and P5 for now. Katami's ahead of the train. He comes round the slow baseball section. Noodles is looking to get a good launch off the corner. Again, we've got another yellow flag. I think it's one of the McLaren boys, no, it's an Aston of Marty. As Ricky Maru gets himself another track limit. That's not going to help his chances for the race win, so a little bit of a wiggle there from Amadi of a congratulations. No need to battle for Amadi now. I think Ricky Maru will probably let him past to win on track. He won't fight it. Which he, oh no, side by side, still battling for it. And Amadi gets himself up to P1. Just a bit of a wiggle there from Ricky Maru. You don't want to lose it. Dan Morris getting himself another track limits. Catstock has fell behind. Adamako's put the burners on. And I think the tyres are slightly wearing. Here's what Katami needs again. coming round the stadium section. And is still ahead on the final corner. And it's the final lap. And we'll stay with these front two then as Ahmed Gee comes around the final baseball section. Round Forest Old Complex, round Jake Peralta, crosses the line, gets P1. Congratulations to Ahmed Gee. Ricky Maru, P2. And on his league racing debut with us. Congratulations to him. Andrew Mako, round turn 16, 17. And very deserved P3 for him. Congratulations to Caps Lock, so close to his first podium with us. And then we come to this absolute carnage battle. I think Katamise has been squeezed out now. Be interesting to hear the point of view from this battle. It was very, very tight, very aggressive. I'd like to say it was fair. We'd have to see. Now they're coming around the final corner. It's going to be interesting to see the final positions after penalties. I'd probably safely say Noodles would retain P5. I've only seen him get one track limits. As he comes around the final corner, P5 for Noodles, P6 for Keezer. So great showing from the RB guys. Katamise P7, and the game's got rid. The game's got rid. And game's given Noodles driver of the day. Of course, our driver of the day goes to driver vote in the Discord. And there's your podium sitters: Ahmadi, Ricky Maru, and Adamako. And we'll go through our classification. Ahmadi taking his third race win of the season, on fine form, and he's the one to beat for now. Ricky Maru at P2 on his Lights Out League racing debut, took it to the wire. If only he did not get those track limits penalties, it could have gone a little bit closer. Adamako P3, I think he'll be happy with that. With one eye on the Liverpool game. Caps Lock, very, very, very good. And I think for me, he'll be my driver of the day. Great showing for him. Noodles P5 up from P10, and Chess Bowl up to P6 actually, with no penalties, up to P6. Congratulations to him from P14. Kisa P7, Katamise P8, and P9 for Dan. Marty P10 and fastest lap. Terry's P11. What could have been for the McLaren boys? Atsu P12. Jack Daniels P13, and Cygate rounding off our finishes for the day. Well, that was action from start to finish. I just couldn't keep up. Some great battles on track, and it'll be interesting to have a chat with the guys in the Discord. Thank you everyone for joining us. This is Light Out League Racing. My name is Alex. Next race 5, will be at Singapore, one of my favourite races personally. See you all there. Peace out.